Hello, old school, I guess this is a music rant. For people who've like seen my channel before, my hobby is like, comics and stuff like that. So most of the stuff I talk about is, old comics I bought in the day or reprints I just got or old stuff that came out, whenever, that I've rediscovered and whatever. And just want to talk about, and that's usually what I talk about, comics or action movies or something like that. This was going to be a little bit different because this has to do with music and race. What happened? A few days back, I was on YouTube, and I don't know. I think I was just looking for like old music videos or whatever, and somehow I came across a video by a young lady, and the video was black people in metal. And the main gist of it was how she felt that she was being put on a spot a lot of times about being a black person who enjoyed heavy metal music. And most of the time, most of the grief she got was from other black people saying that, oh, you're a black person, you shouldn't listen to hard rock, you shouldn't listen to metal, you should only listen to rap and R&B. And I saw, a lot of people made responses and posted their comments, and I kind of watched a lot of those. And even though these things look like they went back from like well over a year ago, people were still posting comments and whatnot and making responses and things. And I think it's an interesting subject. I mean, basically, I know how those people felt, you know what I mean? Because I kind of had some, I kind of lived through that a little bit. I'm a bit older than, some of the people who did it. I did my thing back in the day, and it's not really an issue for me anymore. I'm beyond the stage where I have to like try to fit into, a social clique or anything like that. I've got my own place, my own job, I've got my own family responsibilities and so on and so forth. So it really doesn't matter, whatever. But like I said, I just wanted to put in my 2 cents and give my perspective because, I went through it too, and I kind of went through it like at a time where things were a little bit, I guess, more segregated in a way. So like I said, I just wanted to share, and I'm probably gonna bounce around. I might go off topic once or twice, but anyway, here's my 2 cents, just to give my background. I like all types of music. I like rap. I like R&B. I like mostly, if I come home from work, or I want to relax, I mostly either listen to classic rock or, R&B dusties, and if I'm in a mood for something like quote unquote alternative music or pop or whatever, it's probably something that came out in the 90s. If I want to listen to metal, it's probably 80s stuff. It's probably going to be like old AC/DC or old Black Sabbath or something like that. I don't really keep up with music the way I used to. And I'm not putting it down. I know there's lots of good bands and interesting things going on. I just don't follow it. I just don't have the time and energy to put into it that I used to have. Um, the way I got into it, I grew up, back in the day, back in the, whenever, 70s, 80s, whatever, when I was really, really young, basically just listening to what was going on in the house. My mom liked R&B and pop music. She mostly just listened to it on the radio. Getting a little bit older, getting into high school and stuff like that, MTV was big at the time. And that was back when MTV would play like, music videos, and there'd be like, new wave bands and all the so-called new music that was coming out of so-called England and so on and so forth. I was friends with a white guy that kind of turned me on to the whole punk rock thing. And at that time, it was very, very different than what it is now. Back then, punk rock was like hardcore punk, right? And that was back when it was like Black Flag, Circle Jerks, Dead Kennedys, Fear, Minor Threat, all that type of thing. And I'm African American, right? Okay, so I remember the first time I went to like a punk rock show. Like I said, I went with this friend and somebody else, and I really didn't, I didn't say too much, but in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, all right, is this gonna be safe for me? Is there gonna be some Nazi punks up in there or something? And because you've seen things where people have like backward swastika t-shirts or some BS like that or whatever. But, I went and nothing happened. After the first couple of times, nothing happened, and I learned how to relax, you know what I mean? I think the worst I ever got, out of, all that time period of going to like, hard rock shows and things like that, maybe I got like a weird stare once or twice. But for the most part, people were cool. And I think that was the whole thing of, you're enjoying this music, I'm enjoying this music. If we don't have nothing else in common, we've got that in common. So, the majority of people are going to be cool in that situation. You know what I mean? Getting into the kind of more metal side of that, like I said, I'm listening to that stuff around the same time. Bands like Metallica and Megadeth and Anthrax and these people were coming around and getting more and more popular. And I was able to see how that type of metal, as opposed to, the stuff they got on MTV, the Poison and the Motley Crues and so on and so forth. Those guys, I saw the connection between, that, the thrash metal and the hardcore punk and the moshing and all that, where these guys were writing lyrics about other subject matter, and they were writing about, things going on in society or how they were feeling emotionally or angry things or whatever, and they're playing with those same, speeded up tempos and things like that. And, so that's how I got into like, metal, kind of a roundabout way, being into mainstream things, then getting into underground things, then getting into this sort of thing that was kind of in the middle or whatever. Anyway, getting back to the whole thing of being African American and being into metal, I really understand how a lot of these other posters and things feel, because what will happen a lot of times is, sometimes, somebody finds out you like hard rock or metal or whatever it is you like, yeah, okay, there aren't that many of us into it, even though these days there's more and more and more, which is why I kind of have these pictures up here. I just wanted to put examples of other people who are really, kind of hard rock people who are people of color or whatever. But anyway, there's really not, it really doesn't get promoted that way that other things do, it's not as commercial as certain types of pop music are, certain types of rap music are. So, you're not seeing it on BET. You're not seeing it on, whatever. They're not promoting it on American Idol or whatever. So people don't know about it. Some people, everything they know about culture, society comes out of mainstream television, and if they don't see it, they don't know it. You know what I mean? And what will happen is you'll get maybe a white person might raise an eyebrow or two, but sometimes other black people will get hostile towards you, and they won't ask you to defend, oh, why do you like this, hard rock song, or why do you like this band? They'll come at you in a way that makes you justify why is it that you as a black person would dare to listen to this other thing. Why would you buy that consumer product? As if somehow you're doing something wrong as a black American, And what happens, and I know some of the other people have said it, I know I've gone through it, I've talked to other people online, I've talked to other people in person throughout my life. What happens is you get defensive, and all of a sudden you feel like you have to educate somebody on the whole history of rock. You have to say, oh, they say to you, well, you're a black person, why don't you listen to R&B? Well, why are you listening to that hard rock or that metal? You shouldn't be doing that. And all of a sudden, you have to pull out of your pocket, you have to say, well, there's Jimi Hendrix, man. There's Chuck Berry back in the 50s. There's, Led Zeppelin, they took all those riffs and things, those are old blues riffs from Robert Johnson, and they just reworked it in their own way. And you have to, you have to explain shit to them, you know what I mean? You have to explain to them about Lenny fucking Kravitz. You have to explain to them about, Living Color, and how do I want to say it? I don't even know how I want to say it, but it's people who aren't knowledgeable about certain things, but for whatever reason, them not being knowledgeable is not, they don't want you to explain it to them. They want you to justify it. Like, you don't have a right. So I understand how these other young people feel, where they feel somebody is trying to tell them, no, you can't do that. You're not allowed. And it's kind of a shame that that sort of thing still goes on. You know what I mean? You would think that, race relations and we as African Americans have come so far in the last, whatever, 20, 30 years, 50 years, whatever. But there are people who um, will still like self stereotype themselves and and self stereotype others. You know what I mean? It's like you're in this box. That's what it is. There's this box. You can be in box A, box B, or box C. Here you are trying to make your own box for yourself, and they don't like it. Getting off topic. Because I think, like I said, I think that thinking, and we're talking about like rock music and stuff like that, but I think it's indicative of other things that go on in society. A few months back when the McNabb thing, where the quarterback got killed by by his mistress or whatever, when that happened, I'm listening to a talk show on the radio. It's a so-called black radio station. Then again, it's owned by Clear Channel, and we can talk about that some other time. But anyway. One of the hosts is an African American woman, and she's talking about the case. She keeps bringing up, and yeah, he was caught with this non-white woman, and so on and so forth. And the callers, all the callers are black, keep asking her. They're calling up and they're saying, "Why do you keep bringing this up? This is a tragedy, Why does it matter if this woman was black or not? Why does it matter that the person he was having the affair with, who shot him, was not a black woman, And finally she goes, well, he disrespected his black wife. A black man can go out there and get any type of woman he wants, but a black woman can't do that. And that just blew my fucking mind. I couldn't believe that somebody would say that shit on a black woman would say that on a so-called black radio station. You know what I mean? It blew my mind for a couple of reasons. Because on one hand, I'm thinking, the first thing I think is, wait a minute, what about I don't know, what about Halle Berry? What about Tina Turner? What about Alfre Woodard? What about Gabriel Union? What about Robin Givens? What about, I can't remember the name of the actress, but she was the young lady that played Fancy on the Jamie Foxx show. These are all black women who have either dated white men or been coupled with white men at one time or another. Christopher Noth, the guy from Law and Order, and he was also on Sex and the City, but I never watched that show, is with a black woman. Robert De Niro is notorious for dating black women. My point is not about interracial dating. That's not my point. But my point is this. Well, first of all, my point is, don't believe it if somebody tells you some bullshit about, men of other races or ethnicities don't find black women attractive or brown women attractive or anything. Don't believe that shit. But that gets into my next point. My point is this. Somebody told this host at some point in her life that, oh no, you can't date out of your race, or oh no, those other men won't like you. And she believed it, and she felt that's the rules. And therefore, when somebody went out of the rules, that's what made her upset. She's upset because and I don't even remember what the young lady was that shot dude. I think she was like part Iranian or had a Middle Eastern background or something like that. That's not important. The point is, she was told she couldn't date interracially, therefore she thinks nobody else should be allowed to do that. And somebody did it, and that's what got her mad, you know what I mean? Which goes on to another thing. There's an old movie, right? It's an old biker movie called Easy Rider, right? Late 60s, early 70s. Dennis Hopper, Jack Nicholson, and Peter Fonda. One of the most famous scenes of that movie is where Jack Nicholson is telling his, philosophy of how the world works, and he's talking about the Venusians, and they're here, and they're going to tell people how to be free, but they got to lay low and all this. And at one point, Dennis Hopper is like, well, why don't they just show themselves and do their things and show us how it works? And Jack Nicholson says something to the point of, well, because here we still have leaders to tell you what to do. If everybody gets free, then they don't need the leaders anymore. And Dennis Hopper says, well, being free, that's where it's at. That's what it's all about. Jack Nicholson says, yes, that is what it's all about. But saying it and doing it are two different things. I think he says something to the point of, like, if you tell somebody that they're not really free, they're going to go all crazy and find somebody to kill just to prove to you that they are. And that's what it is. Some people don't want to see other people do their own things, whether it's hurting them or not. And it's a real shame, you know. I mean, what I would say to, you know, anybody that finds themselves in that situation, you know, just hang on, you know, just do your own thing, you know. You can't live your life trying to make other people happy, especially when it's other people that have a very narrow mind view, have a very narrow point of view, whatever it is. I mean, here we're talking about you know, metal and shit like that. But you know, whatever it is, whether it's, I don't know, playing ping pong or collecting stamps or singing Chinese opera, you know, go do your thing. You know, you don't have to make other people happy. What it is they have fallen into a niche and they don't know anything else. You know, they get mad when other people don't conform to their very narrow mind views, and just, you know, take that and just say screw them and do your thing. Just relating to it, I just remember something that I remember reading a while back, right around the time Lil Wayne came out with his last record. That record with the Lollipop song on it, right? And in the interview, I just skimmed through it. I didn't read it in depth, but you know, they were asking him, "Hey, why are you, you know, putting in, you know, these kind of rock elements all of a sudden into your record?" And he's like, "Oh, well, you know, I've always liked rock, you know. I used to, like, you know, go home and listen to Nirvana, but I do it in my room when I was alone, you know, when I was with my friends. I would say, "Oh, no, I don't like that stuff," and blah 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 blah." And point being is, you know, that's a lot of pressure. You know, here's Lil Wayne. Yeah, sure, he's a famous pop star or whatever. He can do what he wants. But here's somebody when he was younger, you know, gave in to that pressure. You know, he gave into that, you know, he gave into that stereotyping. "Oh, no, I don't do any of that, blah, 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 blah." And like I said, sure, he's older now and he's successful now, so now he can kind of do what he really likes or whatever, or experiment a little, blah, 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 blah. But my point is this: it's a shame where you run into these things, and it sucks when it's people from outside of your community or whatever. But it sucks. You kind of get it, you know. You kind of get, well, that person doesn't know any better, or they don't know anything about me, or they're going by stories they heard or whatever. It sucks then, you know, but it sucks even more when it comes from, you know, your own community, because you think, wait a minute, you know, why are you trying to hold me back? You know, even if you don't like or understand what I'm doing, why are you telling me that I'm not allowed to do it? You know, people in those instances won't ask you to explain why, you know, Kurt Hammett is a good guitar player, or why you think, I don't know, David Lee Roth is a good singer or whatever. They want to know, where do you get the audacity to go buy a consumer product that, you know, I don't like, you know? And that's just a shame. Like I said, if you fall into that, you know, situation, anybody that's going through that, you know, just fuck it, you know. Stay with your friends who do understand you or whatever, and just do your thing. Don't let everybody tell you you're a bad person. Yeah, maybe you are weird. Maybe you are the oddball, but so what? That doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you any less black. It doesn't make you any less white. It doesn't make you less Hispanic or Asian. Hey, and you know, we're on this topic, you know, and I'm sure white people get it too. You know what I mean? The term doesn't get thrown around as much as it used to back in the 90s, but I remember when, you know, rap music kind of really broke big and became big and commercial and really mainstream. You know, you had white kids digging the music and wearing the gear, and, you know, they used to get called wigger, you know what I mean? I'm sure there's some kids right now who probably like, you know, whatever, Young Jeezy or some shit, and all their friends or their peers are probably into, I don't know, I'm just making something up, Nickelback or whatever. You know, they're probably telling them, "Oh, why do you always listen to that nigger music? You know, why don't you listen to this over here or whatever?" And the thing is, don't let those people fucking put you down. That's all I got to say about that. Don't let them keep you down, I should say, you know. It's a big world with lots of things out there. There's lots of variety. You can, if you like rap, it's okay to like rock. If you like rock, it's okay to like country. You know what I mean? It's okay to just find the one thing you like and be into it, you know. Hey, it's okay to have debates. It's okay to have a debate. Well, okay, whatever. I think whoever, I don't know. I'm having a brain fart here. It's okay to have a debate about why Taylor Swift is a better singer than Jay-Z, or Jay-Z is a better songwriter than Kurt Hammett or whomever. Kurt Hammett's not really a songwriter. Who writes the rest for Metallica? James Hetfield or something. Or whatever. But that's what the argument should be about. The argument should be about the music. It shouldn't be about you were born here, or you live there, or you've got this much melanin in your skin and your hair looks like that. You have to follow these rules. You don't have to follow any of that stuff. So I guess that's my babbling here. Next time we're going to take on black people in country music. No, I'm just kidding. All right, thanks. Thanks for listening. Tell me what you think, and have a good one.